What's up?
Not much. Just sitting around currently. Finals over.
Yeah? There's an airplane in the sky?
There is an airplane. There's always airplanes around here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, you saw this movie 3 times.
Yes. I saw it twice on the first night.
Yeah.
And then, I guess it was almost a week later. I saw it at like 9 a.m.
Yeah. How many times did you see Force Awakens?
5 in the theater.
Yeah.
And then like 34 in total, I think.
Do you plan on seeing this again in the theater?
Yeah, because I still have to, like, there's still some friends that I promised I would go with.
Yeah.
So yeah, eventually I'll see it again.
Let me know how that goes. I feel like I should see it a second time. I need to beat your record.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
I don't think so either. 34.
That's The Force Awakens. I have the DVD, and I just
Yeah.
throw it on sometimes when I'm like, or at the gym, it's like on
Yeah.
my iPad, so I'll just watch it.
Would you watch it full through? Like throughout?
34 is the full through. I've watched clips
Dang.
of it, multiple.
That's intense.
Yeah.
I don't even think there's any movie I've seen that many times.
So obviously we're talking about Star Trek.
Yeah. You know, the Starfleet and whatever.
Yeah.
Best movie out there. Go check it out. Chris
Yeah.
Pine, Daisy Ridley.
Chris Pine.
Isn't his name Chris
J.J.
Pine?
Abrams,
Yeah.
technically.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Best franchise.
Yep.
Highly recommend.
So, here's the deal. Hi, I'm Emily Hazard, and I'm with my friend today, Amy.
Scaria.
Okay, I didn't know if you wanted me to say your last name.
No,
so,
it's cool. I
yeah.
can say my last name.
Cool. And today we're doing part 1 of our reaction show about Star Wars The Last Jedi. So if you didn't listen to our prediction show, that might be fun for you to listen to, but I'm not going to make you. So let's just start with, what was your overall feeling leaving the theater after the movie?
Overall, I was excited, to be honest. I felt like there was a lot of character development in this, and I appreciated Rey more than I did in The Force Awakens. So I was excited to see what they would do with her in episode 9 because of that.
Yeah. See, that when you told me that earlier, that really surprised me, because like I just completely fell in love with Rey in the first movie, and so in this one, I actually left the theater kind of disappointed for reasons we'll obviously get into, but like to me, this is Rey's story, and it felt almost like she was missing from like the climax of the movie, and so that was really weird for me. So I left the first time like really conflicted. I was like, what did I just see? And then a little disappointed. And I think with each viewing, new viewing, it's getting better for me. Like I like it more each time. So,
You know, I'll tell you why I appreciated Rey more in this one. I think it's because in The Force Awakens, I felt like she was kind of too perfect, like too unattainable. Like I couldn't as much relate to that. I related to the fact that she was a girl and, you know, she was confused in this part in her life. But at the same time, I felt like she was too perfect. Whereas in this one, it showed more of her flaws. She was more angry, more aggressive. Like, we'll talk about that later on. But, like, it was great. And I love that. I feel like I can relate to that anger, that flaw. They really highlighted some of her flaws, and I liked that. I like flawed characters.
you want to hear one of the dumbest things that I read on Twitter today?
What?
Somebody was literally complaining about the fact that she, like, that war cry she does. They were just like, Jedi don't scream out in anger during battles. And I was just like, first of all,
Yeah.
go jump off a cliff. And second of all, Daisy really can do anything she wants to.
That was legitimately one of the best parts to me.
Of the movie.
Exactly.
Not the scene.
That's one of
movie.
the moments I'm talking about where she
Yeah.
was like just angry. I loved that.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, so when you say that, you're missing the whole point of the movie. The whole point is to move on and not like do the same thing, to not do the same kind of Jedi over and over again.
She wasn't even trained like a Jedi exactly.
But
she
that's
got,
what
like,
makes it interesting. Like, say she had the same training as Luke in this movie as he did in Empire. That would be so boring for episode 9. Would be like, okay, so she's perfect. She's been perfectly trained now. And the fact that she's not trained is the intrigue.
Yeah, agreed. It showed like, yeah, she has the Force and she's really powerful, but, you know, she's not like the perfect Jedi or anything. But she's like the last Jedi at the same time.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. Just to tag in the title, you know, in case you didn't know.
Roll credits. We have a list of best moments. I'm going to do my honorable mentions, and it's going to be a long list of honorable mentions. So, in the best way I can think of chronologically, Hux and Poe in the beginning scene with the humor, that was good. The fact that BB-8 is the one that says the famous Star Wars line, I have a bad feeling about this. You know how they put that in every Star Wars movie?
Yeah.
Rian Johnson made BB-8 say it this time, so it's just a bunch of beeps. But isn't that clever?
I had no idea. Yeah.
I read that later, and I was just like, that's really clever. Rey and Finn both asking about each other throughout the movie. The Porgs, I thought that they were not over the top. They were just right. Like, perfect. And Chewbacca eating the Porg was just... The scene where Rey literally reaches out, and then she's like, ooh, I can feel it. That was good. John Williams' score, great as always. Maz Kanata, even though her scene was so short, it was hilarious. I love that scene where she's just like, can I do it? Of course I can do it. And they're like, okay. The fact that Rey and Luke had a fight scene was so cool to me. And also, just saying, I tweeted it out like 2 months ago predicting that scene, and I was right. So, you know, just saying.
So she's psychic, guys.
Yeah. It's not like I just put the pieces together from what we already were given. The Yoda scene, yeah, that actually didn't make my top moments. That made my honorable mentions. I know, but it didn't. DJ as a character, I really liked that guy. Benicio del Toro. Yeah. My mom hated that guy. I loved him. Like, he just did something for me. I thought he was great.
I liked him. I thought he was quirky, but I agree with your mom because towards the end I was like, oh, I had the same feelings.
But
Finn.
I knew exactly. Like, I knew the whole time he was gonna turn on them.
Did you? I had no clue.
Yeah. Okay. So that didn't surprise me when he turned, but whatever. The quote, "I know where the nearest escape pods are," and then Rose goes, "Of course you do." Snoke talking about Rey when he goes, "Still that glint of hope, you have the fire of a true Jedi." And I was just like, yeah, heck yeah, she does.
That was a good one.
This is kind of like an inside joke between me and my mom now, but when Rey is shooting down the TIE fighters from the Millennium Falcon, and she just goes, "Oh, I like this." That's like, I started saying that after I saw the movie, where if I liked something, I'd be like, "Mom, I like this." And so, like, it's just like a joke now. Luke wiping his shoulder. Yeah. The part where he goes, "See you around, kid," and then Kylo looks like he just like pooped his pants.
You know what I read about that? I read that it was a reference to like Han Solo. Like he was trying to, I don't know, something about how Luke is gonna haunt.
Yeah, I think he
Kylo.
is. Like Force Ghost Luke is gonna haunt him, which is awesome. I liked the part where Rey literally and figuratively closed the door on Kylo. Rey checking BB-8's antenna, because if you remember from The Force Awakens, that's how, when they first met, he had a bent antenna, so that was like a cute little... And then I just wrote, Rey and Poe meeting and instantly having enough chemistry to light the eastern seaboard.
Oh yeah, you know, I was surprised. I forgot that they never even met before.
They never met on screen. It seems weird that they never met ever. Because they were both at the base at the last movie.
But they had so much chemistry that it felt like, oh,
yeah,
wow.
It was insane. Like, I was just like, ha ha ha, it's the end of the movie, falling action. And then, like, they had the briefest scene, and I was like, oh my god. Like, they have so much chemistry. And then, this is the last one I have. The fact that this is the first saga movie that doesn't have a lightsaber on lightsaber fight. Which is so cool. And it, like, I felt satisfied, though, with the fighting. Right. But no lightsabers ever crossed. Unless you count Ben and Luke in the flashbacks, but I don't.
That's unique. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
It's cool.
That's weird.
You have some honorable mentions?
Yeah, I have a few. So, my top one is Rey and Finn hugging.
Oh,
I loved that. Especially since they've been asking about each other throughout the movie. Yeah. And then when they hugged, it just felt like, I don't know, I was so satisfied with that. And they're so cute. The actors in real life, too, as friends. I also had Rey shuts the door on Kylo. Yep. I was like, you go, girl. Come on. Shut the door on that guy. I had Phasma and Finn, because that also felt satisfying to me, because, Phasma was his commander at a time, and he left, and, they were just being rude to him.
Yeah.
And he just, slams her. I love that. And she falls through the fire. By the way, I read online that people don't think she's dead.
No, they don't think she's dead because they think it's going to be like a joke, because everyone thought she died in the last one, but she survived. Oh. And so they think it's just going to be like this ongoing, running joke that she keeps getting blown up, but she never dies. Actually I wouldn't mind. I think that would be kind of funny.
Yeah, that would be funny. I did Snoke's death because I kind of expected it, but at the same time it was a cool way in which it happened. Where he's narrating his own death. Right. I know.
I cannot be betrayed.
Yeah. And he says your worst enemy, you're gonna kill them with the lightsaber.
Now he turns his saber on his true enemy.
Yeah. I also had the Porg trying to imitate Chewie. Everyone in my theater laughed. That was hilarious. And then I had the Rey mirror scene. That wasn't in my top, but I thought it confused me, but
in a good way.
In a good way.
I hope it's never explained. Because there's so much that, there's so many different ways you can read it, that's the whole point of it. I hope Rian never explains it.
Yeah, I agree. And I felt I don't know, it was unique. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Alright, so do you want to actually move on into our actual best moments after that long tangent? Yep. So you have 9, right?
I had 9.
Alright, so want to do 9 and 8, and then I'll jump in?
Sure. So my number 9 is Finn about to sacrifice himself on Crate. I didn't feel like the movie did Finn that much justice, but that scene, I feel made up for it a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Finn, and when he was about to sacrifice himself, I thought he was legitimately gonna die.
Yeah, well, one thing I'll say about that scene is that when you watch these kind of movies, you're always well, they're not going to die, they're the main character. But that one, I was actually unsure, because I was they actually could kill Finn right now.
Yeah, I literally clutched my pearls. I legit, put my hand to my chest. I was no. And it was also beautifully shot, that area.
Well, the whole movie is just...
Yeah, amazing. And my 8 is Rey meditating. Because I felt that's where she... felt her true power, and it gave me a sense of the magnitude of the crisis, how easily she could turn to the dark, or...
Right, but the thing that was so interesting about that scene is that Luke is you went straight to the dark, you didn't even try, and it's I don't even think that she saw it that way. I think what she wants is answers, and she can dabble in the darkness, but I never got the feeling that she was gonna go dark, you know what I mean?
Right.
It was weird. It was just all the promotional stuff was all oh my god, Rey's going to the dark side. But then in the actual movie, at least to me, I never was worried about her going to the dark side.
Going to the dark?
Even when Luke was you went straight to the dark, I was but she didn't really in her emotions. She was just curious about her parents. Did you feel that at all? Did you ever, was there ever a moment for you where you're oh my god, she's going to the dark side?
I didn't think she would go to the dark. But from that meditation scene, it showed me how powerful she was and how easily she could be swayed. But I never thought she would be swayed, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It showed me she's so powerful, either side, she could just go to in an instant. But I never thought, she would... I did from the trailers.
Right.
But when I was watching it, I was pretty comfortable that she wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to start with your 7?
Right, yeah. My 7 is Rey in the mirror. I liked that a lot. I don't know why. It gave me, Harry Potter vibes. It gave me the Last Airbender vibes with, all the Reys lined up.
Yeah.
I just, And honestly, I feel that scene is equivalent to, the Force back scene from The Force Awakens, when she touches the lightsaber. And, all that stuff. Because, I could watch that, a billion times and still not know what the heck is happening.
Yeah.
That's always so interesting to me. So, yeah, that's my 7.
I also like that scene because I feel it's up to interpretation.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
Right.
If you were to interpret it, what do you think it actually... when she goes, show me my parents, and then she puts her hand, and it looks like 2 shadows converge to one. And then... it's just her again. Is that the Force, or is that like the dark side being like, you are alone? Like, or is that, because when I first saw it, I was just like, is she her own parent? Is she like a reincarnation or something?
I honestly have no idea. I got reincarnation vibes though, especially with the many duplicates of her. And I'm like, this seems very like
Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Should I go with my 7?
Yeah.
So mine was Rey and Kylo the hand connection. I think...
Was it the actual scene because he was so hot, or was it the or was it the concept of it?
It was the concept.
Okay, good. That makes me feel a little bit better.
Not his looks. It was the concept, and also, I don't know if this is cheating, but I tie into that scene as when she confronts Luke.
Okay, yeah.
Because that ties back to the idea where she was angry.
Well, in that line, did you create Kylo Ren?
Yeah.
Which I have a little bit of issues with, because I don't think that, like, yes, Kylo was manipulated from birth by Snoke. Like, before he was born, they suggested that he was being manipulated and that everything was, like, stacked against him. But I don't think you can blame that, like, I don't think you'd be like, oh, well, it wasn't my fault that I murdered, like, millions of people. And it's like, I don't care how, like, brainwashed you are, it is still kind of your fault. Because Finn was brainwashed. He was kidnapped as a kid.
Yeah.
And brainwashed. And he still is a better person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of issues with, did you create Kylo Ren? It's like, no. Ben created Kylo Ren to some degree.
Yeah, but you see, that's where she trips up. Like, that's her flaw. Like, she immediately blames Luke because she all of a sudden has a connection with someone.
Well, she's very lonely. She's just a lonely character.
Right.
And it's sad.
Yeah. But that's another reason why I like the scene. I felt like, despite people not liking Kylo that much, it's unique to have the protagonist connect on such a deep level with such an evil person.
Well, here's the thing with that I was thinking about. I was kind of like, what came first, the chicken or the egg, when it came to Rian writing this script? And I think what he realized is that he picked Rey's parents first, in my opinion. He was just like, I don't want her to be related to anybody, because the message of this whole movie is you don't have to be related to somebody powerful to be powerful. That's the message of the whole movie. And so I think he picked Rey's parents being nobodies at first. And then he goes, okay, but how do I then set up a connection or some sort of emotional stakes between the two, like between the good guy and the bad guy, for JJ to handle in 9? It was easy for George Lucas in the originals, because with Luke being Vader's son, it was all automatically emotional stakes. But like, because Rey is not related to Kylo, they needed to come up with a way that there's emotional stakes. And I feel like it was kind of like he chose Rey's parents, and then step 1, step 2, step 3, and then the Rey Kylo connection happened from that. Yeah. Because they needed a way to come up with something.
That's a good point. I didn't think
Did that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you explained it. I didn't even think about that before, but at the same time, I always liked anti-heroes or people who could just identify with something they claim to not be. You know? Like, she's really good, but at the same time, there's something that she can identify with, like, connect to with this evil. I don't know. I like that concept.
It's very intriguing, but like I said in the last podcast, they're still walking on thin ice. I think Rian did a really good job. Like, perfect job, where if you want to see something, you can, but they didn't take it too far. I still think the ice is thin, and I still think that JJ really needs to stick the landing. And if he doesn't stick the landing, then I'll be like, ugh.
We'll get into that.
Yeah. What are we on?
6.
Your 6 or my 6?
Yours.
My 6 was Holdo destroying the entire First Order fleet.
Mine was the same.
Yeah, it's visually stunning.
Oh,
and
great.
When every single time when the theater goes completely silent, everyone's like, oh my god. Like, you can hear whispers.
That happened in mine theater too. It was beautiful. And a powerful moment too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my number 5 is a quote. It's, "The rebellion is reborn today, the war is just beginning, and I will not be the last Jedi." And then they cut over to Rey holding up all the rocks. And by the way, she doesn't even look like she's trying. She's literally using one arm. And I was just like, damn.
That's a good one. Yeah. I had the feels when he said that.
Well, because it's like Luke Skywalker, this iconic character, is now calling my generation's Jedi the Last Jedi. And it's just like a moment where I'm just like, yeah, my girl Rey is the Last Jedi. Yeah. And it makes me so happy.
Right. My 5 was Luke and Leia. Like, their goodbye when he kissed her and, like, she sensed him too at the beginning of the scene. I don't know. I just felt... I don't know. I identified with it because I'm really close to my brother. And I was just like, that's a sweet brother-sister moment.
My number 4 is actually that scene too, the Luke and Leia scene. Yeah, in my predictions podcast, I said that they wouldn't have a scene together or they wouldn't reunite, and I'm really glad I was wrong. Just the whole, like, Leia in the beginning, I know what you're gonna say. I changed my hair. Yeah. And then he goes, it looks good that way. And I was just like, aw. Yeah. And the whole, like, my son is gone, and he goes, no one's ever really gone. And that means so much more because Carrie Fisher is gone.
Exactly.
And it was just this beautiful... Like, I totally get why they didn't kill her off in the beginning of the movie now because of that scene. Yeah. That's the reason.
I'm glad that scene went down, too, especially now that Carrie Fisher's gone. I feel like... Even though they didn't know this would be her last performance, it was great.
That line where the last thing he says to her is no one's ever really gone. Yeah. And I was just like, I don't know how, like, Rian must have gotten really lucky.
Yeah. That's so, like...
That he wrote that, and it's just...
Yeah.
I mean, it's not luck, but, you know.
My number 4 was the Luke Yoda scene.
There's some amazing quotes in that scene.
I did not expect it at all.
Me neither.
And... threw me off guard, and I got this sense of nostalgia immediately, as I'm sure everyone did. Like, Luke, this master Jedi, is struggling with, should I burn down the tree with all the old Jedi books in it or not? And Yoda just comes and embarks on his wisdom. I love that.
There are some really good quotes in there that I can't remember completely because of the way Yoda talks, but something like we are what they grow beyond, that is the true burden of all masters, or whatever. Like, I just
And he also mentioned something about how whatever's in that tree is already in, like, Rey's heart.
Yeah, she already has everything she needs.
But after I saw the movie, I was wondering if that's because she took the books.
yeah, the quote is Rey has everything she needs already, or, like, she already has everything she needs. And I was just like, is that because Yoda knows she already stole the books? Which is hilarious. But so my number 3 honestly until the third time I watched the movie, it wouldn't even have been my number 3. For some reason, the third time through, all the emotional beats really hit me. Like, I almost cried like 3 times in this movie. And, like, it's another quote. It's, the Force does not belong to the Jedi. To say that when the Jedi are gone, the light is gone is vanity. Do you see that? And the way Luke says that, he's like, it's vanity. Do you see that? That just is the whole point. It's like corruption. It's like he's calling out corruption. I don't know what it is. I just really liked that.
Like, the Force is with everyone, even though the Jedi are gone.
Yeah, Rey kept saying, like, the dark side is consuming Kylo Ren, like, we need the Jedi back to fight him. And he goes, to say that if the Jedi are gone, that the light is gone is vanity. Yeah. And he's like, do you understand that? The Force doesn't just belong to the Jedi, you know? It belongs to every living thing.
You know what? Now that I think about it, it harkens back to that little boy in the end. Like, he had the Force. Yeah. When he did it. Like, it's with everyone. That's a good point. Yeah.
Well, in the whole meditation scene, like you said, like with I see the balance, the light, or life, death, that reborn into new life. Like, that's Daisy Ridley did a good job.
Oh, yeah. My 3 was the Kylo Luke confrontation. I loved that. It was amazing.
He's completely unhinged.
A Jedi Master owning his old pupil, like, damn. I was like, and that for me included the shoulder brush scene. Yeah. Oh, I loved that. And they didn't even have, like, a full battle.
Well, they couldn't.
Right, but right, exactly, because he wasn't there. But Luke was so composed, and I don't know, it just spoke to me. I was like, he's a true master, and this guy's just like a psychopath. Yeah.
I got the vibe too, because of my number 2. I wrote Kylo not turning to the light side and instead doubling down and becoming a like completely unhinged sociopath. Like, I loved that. I don't want to see the trope of, oh, he's a bad boy that falls in love and becomes a good man. I'm tired of that. And then when he like totally like doubled down and just became insane, psychopath, I was like, yes, I'm here for this. Like, I just wrote down some quotes where he goes, blow that piece of junk out of the sky. Like, I love that. And then he goes, I want every gun you have pointed, or, you know, fire on that man.
You know, I gotta say, the actor Adam Driver, he does a great job delivering those lines too. Like, he seems like he immediately went back to being crazy.
Yeah.
It was
great. I know. It's such a joy to watch. And then he just turns on a dime. Like, the whole movie is him setting up between Rey and Kylo, and then she rejects him, and he becomes like a whiny little boy again. And he's just like, I'll destroy her and you and all the Jedi. And I was just like, yep, showing your true colors here, Kylo.
Right.
But I loved it. Like, that was the best part for me.
That was your number 2?
2, yeah.
My number 2 was the Rey-Kylo fight scene, including the battle cry.
I'm wondering what the number 1 is then.
You'll see. It's a surprise. It was so awesome. This is a toss-up with my number 1, but I put it number 2. You'll see why. Insane. I loved it. Battle cry and all. It was crazy. Just even seeing them work together was, I don't know.
There's something just like majestic about it. Like, they didn't do many close-ups in that shot. They showed their full bodies fighting, which was cool. I liked that, yeah. And
like when she throws the lightsaber at Kylo and he presses it and it just goes through the guy's head.
Yeah.
That was like, pretty cool. Damn. Yeah. Or
there's that really cool scene where she like is being like choked with one hand and she drops the saber and catches it with the other hand.
So cool.
And I was like, Rey, take all my money.
I loved it. Yeah.
Disney, take all my money.
Right.
It's all yours.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So my number 1 is that scene, Rey and Kylo taking on the guards, and specifically Rey's animalistic war cry. Oh my god. When I saw that, I was like, oh my god. Like, that, if they had cut that out, like, that scene would have been like, whatever. But like, that war cry makes my day.
I loved it.
I found a gif of it and sent it to you.
Yeah.
God.
So great. Yeah.
It's so good.
Awesome.
That actually might be one of Rey's best moments in the trilogy so far.
I agree. And I also liked it a lot because when I see like action scenes or fight scenes, and I love me a good fight scene. I love it. Usually the girl is not too aggressive. Usually the guy's the one who's shown like all aggressive and the girl's like fighting in a majestic way.
Yeah.
But no, she brought it down. Like, she cried, she screamed, she dropped it, she flipped them. It was amazing.
Seriously, like, when I get the DVD, I'm gonna like play that, rewind it, play it, like, until I'm tired of it. Yeah. But like, oh my god, that'll
just pump me up for things. Oh, so great.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing I have to say about, like, I said this in the previous podcast, was that they didn't make Rey feminine, like, or sexualize her one bit. And I love that.
Yeah.
Like, make her a warrior, but don't even sexualize, like, any of the stuff she wears, any of her actions or anything. She fights just like a guy would in an action movie, and that's what's good about it.
Yeah, and I think that's another reason why we both can identify with her. Like, we weren't the overly pretty or, like, I don't know, these girls or anything who are
I always harken back to Wonder Woman. Where it's like, she's a strong character, yes, and she's a badass. But something about, like, the perfect shampoo hair.
Right.
And the boobs, like, all over the place. It's just, I'm like, I can't, like, relate to this. I don't know. It just...
Yeah.
I like the, like, scrappy scavenger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's so, like, you, too, I feel. Because you would always be the outdoorsy girl. So, yeah. I don't know. So, my number one.
Here we go.
All right. Okay, so like I said earlier, I love action scenes. I love fighting scenes so much. That stuff always gets me. But just because of the acting and the chemistry in this scene, when Rey and Kylo, after the fight, were talking and she was telling him not to turn, but he was yelling at her and she was getting emotional, their acting was amazing in that scene. Especially Daisy. Like, I thought it was amazing. Mm-hmm. She was getting emotional. I mean, you know, she doesn't have to give a crap about Kylo. He's a psychopath, but she's getting emotional, and he just yells at her, and that's when he clicks and turns back.
Yeah, he can't, yeah.
Where he becomes a psycho again when she denies him, you know?
Yeah, when he's rejected.
Yeah.
How dare you not text me back?
And then, exactly. And then when they break the lightsaber, that just spoke to me too. I was like, she's equal to him, you know?
Okay, and let me just say this. I know that we are completely Daisy Ridley fangirls, but is there anything she can't do? Like, that scene, she murdered that scene.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I think Adam Driver did a really good job with that scene. Like, he's like, no, you keep holding on.
Yeah.
But, like, then they cut over to Daisy Ridley, and she's, like, crying. She's like, please don't go this way. Don't do this. And I was just like, oh, my God. Yeah. Like, seriously.
I think they both did a great job, but Daisy, man.
Yeah, there's something about that girl. Like, I swear...
Yeah.
She's gonna have a successful career.
And this is coming from someone who actually doesn't mind Kylo. I don't hate him.
I don't hate him, but I hate the idea of, like, such a...
where they're going with it.
Such a good-hearted person like Rey to be kind of saddled, or whatever the word is, with a storyline where she has to redeem a complete psychopath.
Right.
I hope that he isn't redeemed in a way. Because he's a psycho. Like, for once, I don't want to see the complete murdering psychopath be redeemed. It would be nice to just be like, yeah, he's crazy, and he's a psycho.
I'll mention what I think about this later, because we're going to get to it. But, yeah, I don't see it as her trying to redeem him so much as that this was the one person she connected to a lot, and it's just devastating, you know?
Question that I just thought of. If she was not alone on the island the whole time, but if she was with Finn, do you think that connection would ever happen? Like, if she was, like, off somewhere with Finn and the rest of the Resistance, like, with her friends, do you think that she would have resorted to Kylo, talking to him?
I don't.
Yeah.
I think she also has a big connection with Finn. Maybe not spiritually, I guess we can say. They're very friendly, but I think that would overshadow...
I just think it was the fact that she was so alone on the island that made her... that draw her towards him.
Right.
Yeah.
But I also liked the connection idea because I feel like it was unique.
Yeah. I liked it. I'm not going to say I didn't like it. I just, again, the ice is thin. And them trying to convince me that this murdering psycho deserves, like, complete forgiveness, it's going to be so hard for me.
I'll show you.
I mean, I'm open to it, JJ, if you're listening.
Yeah, come on, JJ. Where you at, JJ? Send us a script, JJ, please.
We'll edit it. So, we kind of already went over a lot of this stuff. There are 3 storylines, basically, in this movie. There's the Resistance versus Hux, Rey, Luke, Snoke, Kylo, and then Finn and Rose. And I was just going to ask what your favorite moment from each of them is, but the only one we haven't talked about is Finn and Rose. So, what's your favorite moment from the Finn and Rose storyline?
Mine, I actually mentioned, was when Finn was about to sacrifice himself.
Oh, okay. So it really didn't have anything to do with Rose?
No, well, I liked Rose because she saved him.
Okay.
Basically. Yeah. I think Rose had potential, but I didn't like necessarily what they did with her in this. But I do hope they give her some justice, like some type of, I don't know, power in the next one.
Yeah. But I don't know. She didn't do that much for me. I was just like, okay.
Basically, I liked her because she saved Finn, and she almost died doing it, so sorry. And I thought that kiss was awkward, by the way. It was very strange.
And then she, like, immediately died. I thought that she died. And I was like,
Yeah, and Finn did not expect it. Like, his mouth was closed. He was like, what? What just happened?
Yeah, and he was like, did you just kiss me and then immediately drop dead?
I know. I agree. Yeah.
Ugh. Which brings me to kind of a question. Like, one of the ways I thought you could, quote, fix the Finn and Rose storyline is to make it a Finn and Poe storyline and make it kind of like continuation of the bromance. Also because Oscar Isaac has chemistry with, like, a brick wall. Like, he could act with, like, a sofa and they would have chemistry. So I was thinking, like, how cool would that last scene be if he goes, I saved you, dummy. Like, that's the line. Can you imagine that? Like, coming out of Oscar Isaac's mouth? I'd be like, sign me up.
Even the first scene with them when Finn comes out of whatever he's in and he's got the leaking...
Yeah, the water.
They were so connected. I love their relationship.
And then they split them up, which...
Yeah. Which was weird. I don't know why they introduced Rose, to be honest with you.
Honestly, I think it would have been a much tighter movie if it was Poe and Finn going together, because then we wouldn't have to cut to 3 different storylines.
Yeah.
We would cut between Finn and Poe and Rey and Luke. And it would be a tighter
more
movie.
Cohesive.
Yeah. Instead of like waiting and waiting and waiting to get back to Octu.
Yeah.
It would just be like, if you're not on Octu, you're with Finn and Poe. I don't know.
I have a question for you. So, what do you think about the Finn-Poe shippers?
I didn't really see any like part of it until this movie, where I'm like, I could do this. Like, I would be okay with this.
Honestly, I saw it when they reunited in The Force Awakens, and they were so loving to each other, and they hugged each other, and I was like, I dig that.
Yeah, like,
I wouldn't mind it.
But you know what's weird about this movie? Yeah. After The Force Awakens, I was not a big Rey Finn person. I was just like, I don't really think I want them together. Right. After The Last Jedi, I'm like, oh yeah. Like, Rey has like 3 boyfriends in this movie, and it's awesome. Yeah. But like, after this, I was just like, oh, when you compare Finn to Kylo, Finn is all of a sudden like amazing.
Much better.
Yeah. I would totally like them to get together, because imagine how pissed off Kylo would be. Right. If they got...
Honestly, I'd also wouldn't mind, like... So I know you mentioned that they might be setting up for a Rose-Finn thing in Episode 9, which I couldn't care less about.
It's like mediocre and like whatever.
But if Poe were involved in that, I wouldn't mind
triangle?
I would love that.
Yeah.
To be dead serious, yeah. I wouldn't mind it, but it's because... We live in a closed-minded society. They probably wouldn't.
I honestly, and this is kind of crazy, and I wouldn't have said this until that one scene with Rey and Poe, but like, I can almost see a Rey, Poe, Kylo love triangle. Yeah. I can actually see that.
Yeah. Because they did have a lot of chemistry. I know.
And he says the words "I know," which in Star Wars is kind of a... Because, you know, Leia and Han, the "I love you, I know."
Yeah,
and when he says the words "I know," it means something more in Star Wars than it does in a regular, you know?
That scene's so funny to me.
Yeah.
He's just like, I know.
And then he immediately gets like... He gets like encased in carbonite. He's like, I know.
So Han, though. Okay.
So let's move on to Rey's parents. I actually thought I'd just start by reading this quote by Rian Johnson. He did an interview like the day after the movie came out. So he goes, I can't speak to what they're going to do. And there's always in these movies a question of a certain point of view. But for me, in that moment, Kylo believes it's the truth. I don't think he's purely playing chess. I think that's what he saw when they touched fingers, and that's what he believes. And when he tells her in that moment, she believes it. So he's basically leaving it so like... JJ could change it, but it also is enough of an explanation that it could be the final say.
Right, because I feel like after I saw that scene, I immediately thought he could be lying, because nobody to him accounts for many people who are very valuable. Well, like especially Finn's a nobody to him.
Yeah. Well, especially the line that he says before he reveals that to her is, he said... I saw something too when I touched your hand, and it's that when I tell you who your parents are, it'll be you that turns. And so I was just like...
Is that what he said?
Well, okay, he said... This is the closest to the quote as I could remember. It's... let me find it. When the moment comes, Rey, you will be the one to turn. And he said, because of what I saw. Rey, I saw who your parents were. And I was just like, oh, so you're basically telling her... It's like he's manipulating, like negging her. Like, oh, when I tell you this, you're definitely going to be on my side. Right. Is basically what he was saying. But then Rian said that he was telling his, the truth that he saw, so...
I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. I feel like this is completely something we can't even predict. Because it's so...
Because it could be left completely untouched, or it could be a huge part of 9.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like anything we try and guess could be totally off the mark.
Well, one thing that I will mention is that I think it would be super cool if, like, the visions they saw when they touched each other's hands were, like, prophecies where it's, like, they come true but not in the way you think. Because Rey's was, here, let me find it. You will not bow before Snoke, Ben, you'll turn, or whatever she says. And she was right. Ben Solo did not bow before Snoke. And Ben Solo, what was left of him, turned to the dark side. See what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he was very conflicted, and then whatever was left of Ben Solo is now gone, and he's completely Kylo Ren. So, she was technically right.
That's true.
Just not the way she thought she was right.
I guess then he was technically right too, right?
But it could be not the way he thinks.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? He thinks that her parents are drunks or whatever, and they could be, but there could be more to the story.
Yeah. Right.
Which would be interesting. But yeah.
Yeah, because I immediately got a sense that he probably wasn't telling the truth.
That's funny, because I didn't even think about that. I was just like, well, I guess that's the answer.
Well, I guess it seemed that way because she admitted to it. She's like, they were nobodies. She said it herself. But maybe that's because she was expressing a fear.
Either way, like, if that ends up being the truth, it's a great message to send.
Oh yeah, honestly, I'm so glad that most of the theories out there did not come true. I did not want her to be Luke's daughter, to be honest. Mainly because of the message they sent when we find out that her parents were nobodies. I felt like that was more powerful than, oh, of course she's powerful because she's Luke's daughter. Just by saying her parents are nobodies and that she's this powerful also speaks to the fact that the Force lies with everyone. Yeah.
Well, also, I think it further shows the differences and similarities between Rey and Kylo, because if you look closely, this movie goes out of its way to show that their powers are, like, completely equal. Like, they literally break the lightsaber in half because their powers are so balanced. But he's born to privilege and royalty. He's born basically a prince because she's Princess Leia. He's born to, like, these great parents that love him and have everything he needs, an uncle that's a Jedi master, you know. Meanwhile, she's born to, like, pretty shitty parents that, like, sold her for drinking money. She has no privilege, you know. She lives on Jakku or whatever. And yet he turned to the dark side and she is the light side of the Force. So it just shows, like, it's not about how powerful they are. It's about the importance of how people use great power.
Right.
And that's the point of the whole trilogy now, I feel like. It's to show that, like, being powerful isn't enough if you're a jerk.
Yeah, there's a quote, I forget where it's from. So if any of you know, please quote it. Give rights to the person, but it doesn't matter who you come from. It matters what your actions are. Like, it doesn't matter your origins. That doesn't matter. It matters what you do.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that speaks to all.
Which makes sense because, like, think about if Rey was born of Luke Skywalker, then suddenly it's like
it cheapens it.
Well, Ben was born of, you know, privilege, and then she would have also been born of privilege, and then it would have been like, okay, so now we're just watching two privileged people. Like, I don't know, you know?
I see.
I like the fact that, like, they come from completely different backgrounds. That makes it cool to me. Yeah.
Agreed.
So then I was talking about Luke's death, like, and the fact that Leia's still alive, which if I could have predicted, I would have predicted the exact opposite. Yeah. I would have predicted that Luke would stick around and Leia would die in this movie just because of Carrie Fisher. But yeah, how do you feel about Luke's death?
Honestly, I think they did him justice. He went out like a total badass, I thought. He went like how I would expect a Jedi Master to go. He, like, ascended to a higher level of consciousness and he, like, disappeared. Like, mystical, you know?
You will not believe some of the people online. They're like, how could you kill Luke Skywalker? He's like, how could you not stick him around for 9? I was like, get it through your head. This is Rey's story. This is her trilogy. It's not Luke's.
And honestly, I like the new characters so much that I'm fine leaving out the old guys now, you know?
Let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
Exactly.
It's meta.
To quote Kylo, you know, he's right in some sense. Let the past die.
Kill it if you have to.
Exactly.
Rian Johnson, wink.
JJ, wink, wink. I don't know who else there is. That's pretty dark. Besides that, but I liked it. He went out in style, I'd say.
Yeah, for all the people that are just like, I can't believe you killed Luke Skywalker. He should be the climax of the next movie. I was just like, you're missing the entire point.
Exactly.
This is not his story.
Right. He already had it.
Whoa. He already had Jinx.
Jedi tricks, man.
Sure, yeah. He already had his story.
Yeah.
And plus, with Snoke dead and Luke dead now, there's no greater evil power and there's no greater light power than Kylo and Rey. So
exactly,
their showdown is gonna be epic.
There you go. And just them cutting to him like floating above that rock. Mm-hmm. That was so cool. That was so awesome. Me and my brother geeked out. We looked at each other and we're like, oh my god. It was so cool.
Yeah.
That's something I never
That
seen.
always gets an applause in every showing I've gone to.
Oh yeah, everyone was like, whoa.
They're like, oh my god. Mm. Yeah. And then Leia being alive.
Oh yeah.
But we already talked about that. We liked how she made it all the way to the end and had that last scene with Rey.
Yeah, I think you and I agree on how they're gonna deal with that in the next one.
Opening crawl.
Right. Yeah. I think
that's the only way to do it, especially because I mean we will get into episode 9 kind of like predictions, but like that seems to be the best way to do it. Like just say like Leia, even after the death of Leia Organa, you know, just something like that.
And they go forward a couple of years.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll go forward quite a bit actually. Yep. So now we have some character rankings. I have 10. How many do you have?
I have 10.
Perfect. All right, so I'll go first. My number 10 was BB-8. Mm. It's lower than it was for The Force Awakens, but I still love that little dude.
Yeah, they gave him quite a bit of humor.
They gave him, like, he's the true Mary Sue of this. He can do everything. Right. And I was just like, all right, whatever. But yeah.
Exactly. Mine was Rose.
Okay.
I didn't think she was bad enough to not be included in the top 10, but she's my last.
I did. No, I'm not. I'm joking. It's just that I literally did it from 1 to 10. Yeah. And she didn't come up. I didn't even do it from 10 to 1, you know? Right. So, like, yeah. So my number 9 is Finn. He also dropped quite a bit. I think he was my number 2 last time for The Force Awakens. It's not that his character is the issue. It's that he really went on a mission that did nothing. Like, I know. In the end, his mission failed, and then he almost got killed, and then he almost sacrificed. Like, everything was just, like, kind of pointless. Like, I could tell that it was, like, Rian had a great plan for Rey, had a great plan for Kylo, and had a pretty solid storyline for Poe. Yeah. And then was like, crap, now what do we do with Finn? Mm. And that was kind of, like, where that was all born. But whatever.
My 9 was BB-8, actually.
Cool.
Yeah. So, similar reasons to yours.
My 8 is Yoda. He was only in one scene, but that's probably going to go down, like, after this movie is a few years old as one of the best scenes of the movie.
Comebacks, so, yeah. My 8 was Hux.
I loved him in this movie.
I thought he was good, and I have theories as to what they're going to do with him.
Okay.
So stay tuned for that.
Okay. What are we on, 7?
7.
My 7 is Poe Dameron.
Same. Mine was also Poe.
I don't know exactly why. It's just that that's where he fit.
Me neither, yeah.
So...
Same.
Yeah.
I love him as a character and the actor, but I don't know.
It's one of those things where I felt like he almost had too many scenes in this movie, though. Like, I love Poe, and I love Oscar Isaac, but I feel like he's one of those characters that, like, if you give him too many scenes, it's not good anymore. Like, he's really good when he comes in, he's like, woohoo! You know, like fighting things, and when he was just, like, I don't know. There was something about it. It was just like, just a fewer scenes would have been better.
He's like a complimentary character. Yeah. He complements other characters.
Yeah.
I feel.
If you focus too much on him, it's just kind of like, I don't know.
This is side chick, man.
Sure. My number 6 is Snoke.
Ah.
I The dialogue that they wrote for Snoke was fantastic. Like when he goes, "Son of Darkness, true heir to Lord Vader," or whatever. I don't know. Like, I feel like it was just the dialogue.
Super menacing. Mm-hmm. Mine was Finn.
Okay.
I put Finn higher up. God, I don't know. I just love his character so much. I don't think they did him justice.
I just wonder how much of that is a holdover from The Force Awakens, though. Like, if you know what I mean?
It could be because I'm biased, but I don't know. I love the scene where he was just going to go for it anyway, and he gave me a shock. You scared me, Finn.
How dare you?
Don't do that.
My number 5 is General Hux.
Wow.
I loved him in this movie. Like, with the last one, I was just like, okay, it's kind of funny how, like, Kylo and Hux are, like, brothers.
Yeah.
But with this one, I don't know what it was. Every time he was, like, I think his name is Dom Hull.
I think they pronounce it Dommel. Because it's Irish or something, and they have, like, a different language.
It's like he knows exactly what he's doing with this character.
Yeah.
And he just, like, owns it every single time.
My 5 was Haldo. I honestly didn't like her at first. Mainly because Poe did it. Mm-hmm. And of course, he was pretty rebellious. But I think her ultimate scene made up for all of that to me.
I hear the biggest complaint about her is that it could have saved, like, so much storyline if she just told Poe what the plan was the first time he asked. But I feel like she didn't because she was proving a point. Like, you need to learn how to follow orders and stop, like, asking questions. So I get it. I don't know. I felt like that was another example of how this movie was a little anticlimactic. Okay. Like, it was, like, the slowest space chase of all time.
Yeah. Exactly.
But that's you're right. She didn't even make my list.
Really?
I just realized she didn't make my list. Yeah. Awkward. BB-8 made my list, but she didn't. In your face.
The droid.
Yeah. Beep-boop-boo.
C-3PO.
The odds of this is a... Yeah. And he goes, 500, blah, blah, blah. And then Poe was like, shut up. And then he goes, to 1. That should have been another honorable mention. Yeah. I love him every time he talks. This is not correct protocol. My number 4 is Leia Organa.
Same here.
And she's number 4 because of my 1, 2, and 3.
Exactly. Yeah.
But Carrie Fisher is so good with, like, timing. Like, comedic timing, but also dramatic timing. I think that she's a great actress.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. The one thing I didn't understand, though, was the Force powers. I had no idea she had that.
Are we going to talk about that?
We don't have to.
It's been insinuated in the original trilogy that, yes, she has the Force, but it's supposed to... the point of it, I think, was supposed to show that you can choose whether you want to hone those skills or not. It's not like if you have it, you're destined to be a Jedi.
We can go with that.
I think that's the point, though, of showing that. Yeah, I think that was... I think I remember that. I don't know. When Yoda goes, no, there is another, or whatever, I think he was referring to Leia, but whatever. My number 3, and here, this, the top 3 are Kylo Ren.
Same here.
Okay. I was worried he was going to be your number 2. And honestly, he was my number 2 for about 30 seconds, and I was like, no. Yeah. So I made him 3.
I think you'll be worried about my 1 and 2.
As long as he's not number 1, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah, it's not Kylo.
He was great, and this was most definitely his movie. Yeah. This was not Rey's movie.
Right.
This is her trilogy, but this was Kylo's movie. This is all about him.
Yeah.
To some degree.
I think the whole idea or concept behind the movie points to Rey, the Last Jedi, and honing your powers and all this. But he definitely got the most development.
Well, yeah. I mean, think about The Force Awakens, where we start with Rey as this scavenger, quote, nobody, and we end with her pulling the Skywalker lightsaber out of the snow and then walking up to meet a Jedi Master. Exactly. Like, look at that development. And that is very similar to kind of what happened in this movie with Kylo.
I think Kylo was more humanized.
Yes. Well, and he just had more scenes. Like, there was more of his character. That's all I really have to say. I'm not a huge Kylo fan. I'm also not a huge Kylo hater. I think it's fun to make fun of him, but in, like, a fun way.
I don't know. I like him. I
like him, but it's a cautious like.
Right. I usually am drawn to villains. I should say that. That might be another reason why I'm biased. I'm usually drawn to villains whose motives are unclear and who struggle with being bad, because that's weird.
he struggles with being bad, but does, like, that's like one of the biggest questions. I'm like, is he struggling?
I mean, my thing is, the dark side's so seductive, right? Mm-hmm. I've never seen someone so seduced by the dark side, yet still think about the light.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the cool part. That's what's cool. But, like, when he doubled down and became, a complete psycho in this movie.
Right.
And then the last scene, he looks regretful, almost, when he looks up at Rey. But at the same time, he like, 10 minutes ago said, I'll destroy her. And also tried to blow up a ship that he knew she was on. Mm-hmm. I mean, he knew she was on the Millennium Falcon.
I mean, I also like psychopaths.
Yeah. But to make the psychopath a love interest might be too far.
Agreed. But I'll share my thoughts.
That's why I'm feeling a little uneasy.
Later.
Anyway, so my number 2 is Luke Skywalker.
My 2 is Rey.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. I loved Rey in this one. Honestly,
she didn't have as much to do.
She didn't, but she solidified more for me. Mm-hmm. And I shared that earlier in the pod, but she was more relatable to me. Mm-hmm. And I liked her so much more now. I feel like they added more to her.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I liked her a lot.
They added that she's not, like, emotionally perfect.
Yeah.
And that's what's good about it.
I think she's definitely my favorite character now. Whereas before, I struggled with that a little bit. Mm-hmm. I'm like, is she? I do like the crazy villain, and I do like Finn a lot. Mm-hmm. But now she's definitely... because I really feel more of a connection.
Yeah, and I feel like what you're feeling now is what I felt like the first time I watched The Force Awakens. I was like, this girl is, like, the best character, right. Is how I felt. So, yeah. Yeah, Luke Skywalker is my number 2 because as soon as I wrote down character rankings, I wrote 1, Rey.
Right.
And then I was just like, okay, who should be 2?
Yeah.
I also kind of wrote it as number 2 to prove a point that this isn't his trilogy. Mm. And the old fanboys need to get over that.
Yeah,
this
I see.
is Rey's trilogy.
Yeah.
I don't know how hard it is for you to understand. Well, I guess it could be hard. Like, think about in the future if they ever made another one. It would be hard for us if she came back and she was kind of like a grumpy, like, old person that, like, was kind of just like, and then, like, wasn't actually focused on, you know? If the next generation, I'd be like, no, I want more Rey.
I know.
Because this is our trilogy.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I put Luke as 1. Because I agree, this is Rey's trilogy, and I'm down for that. I'm so excited for the next one, especially with JJ.
Yes, JJ. Oh,
I know.
My God.
Thank God.
Thank the maker.
But I gave it to Luke because I think out of all the characters, I was most satisfied with what they did with him.
Okay, then that's actually a really good reason.
Yeah.
I like that.
I liked all his... Yeah, I think I liked all his scenes. And I liked how they ended him. I thought it was perfect.
That's actually that's a really good reason to rank him number 1. I forgive you now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks. That means a lot.
Because, like, he kind of had a full arc in this movie. Because, honestly, he wasn't in TFA, like, ever. No. He had one scene.
Right.
So this movie kind of gave him a birth, life, and death in this trilogy.
Yeah.
I'm sure, I mean, I'm like 99.9% sure he's coming back in episode 9.
Like a Force ghost or something?
Oh, yeah. Like, to either haunt Kylo or teach Rey or both. Like, I'm sure that's going to happen. But, yeah. Okay.
That's why I was most satisfied with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
Yep.
So, I have this really quick question. If you had to say right now, like, lightning round, which do you like better, TFA or TLJ?
I know this is a cop-out, but I couldn't choose. I just couldn't. They're so different to me.
They are very different.
And the reason, let me justify myself. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry I couldn't choose. I know it should be an obvious answer, but let me justify it.
I don't think it should be obvious, but I think, I don't know, whatever.
It should be obvious.
Okay.
But, okay, The Force Awakens, overall, I was more satisfied with everything. Mm-hmm. Like, the script, what they did with the characters, and where they were going. Mm-hmm. But in this one, I appreciated the characters more. Mm-hmm. Rey, I love her now. More than I did before. Luke, I was so happy with what they did with him. How they used him. Same with Leia. I was super happy with how they used her. And they introduced new concepts, which I feel like is something the series kind of needs.
Yeah.
I don't think they executed it the best. I think the writing could have been better.
Rian Johnson.
Rian Johnson.
You did that backwards.
But it was beautifully shot.
Yes.
It was beautiful. And character development was on point. But overall, The Force Awakens, I think, did a better job in making it more cohesive.
Well, you also have to remember that JJ started with a white piece of paper, and he created that movie.
That's a good point.
Rian Johnson had so many things that he could work with, you know what I mean? And he created this movie. And it's not a bad movie, but it's just so different.
I agree.
That's why I couldn't JJ literally created Rey and Finn and all this idea, and Rian took what he created. I feel like Ryan's job was easier, in a way.
I agree. But I liked what he did with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't choose. I know it's a cop-out.
So I did choose, and I chose The Force Awakens. And honestly, I feel like it's just because when I walked out of that theater all 5 times, everyone just seemed so happy and excited. And that was the point of that movie, was to be like, yeah, Star Wars. Like, everyone walked out of that movie just like, I can't wait to see where Rey goes. I love every character. Like, I love this story. Everyone just seemed like happy and excited. And that was the point of that movie. The point of this movie is to challenge fans.
Yeah.
And to really be like, nostalgia needs to go die. Like, we need to get rid of nostalgia in Star Wars. And they both have a point to them, but again, change is hard for all humans, and that's why I'm struggling with it a little bit.
I see.
And also, my feelings on episode 8 are going to heavily depend on what happens in 9.
Gotcha. So,
if JJ sticks the landing, I could look back and be like, wow, episode 8 was fantastic and might be my favorite. But if he doesn't, and this could be the beginning of the end. You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
I have faith in JJ.
I
think
hope
he can
God
do it.
He can do this.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a better director and writer.
Agreed.
The pacing in The Force Awakens was flawless.
Yeah. It went quick. This one, there were points where it was slow.
Yeah, the whole elongated scene of when, Finn and Rose, got those animals, Fathiars or whatever, out of the jail. And then they chased. There was, a 5-minute chase
I
scene.
couldn't care less about
I was just like, snooze, who cares? Yeah. And the whole reason that was there was to introduce that boy. Yeah. Which I didn't think was needed. I understand the point of that scene, but I would have liked it if it was at the end of the credits. You know what I mean? Yeah. It just... I was like, why do I care about... Yeah. We're getting towards the end. We're going to start talking about episode 9. So, predictions for episode 9.
All right. I have some interesting ones. First off, disclaimer. I think anything we guess might not hit the mark at all, because honestly, I have no idea what to expect.
Well, it's also much easier. What I realized when I'm walking into The Force, or The Last Jedi, I was just like, I actually know a lot about this movie. Just by looking at all the articles written in Entertainment Weekly and watching all the TV spots, you can learn a lot about the movie. I knew a lot of the plot just because I consumed some of the promotional stuff. Yeah. Right now, we know literally nothing about the episode 9.
Not just because of that, but I felt like it was easier to make predictions after The Force Awakens for the next one. There's some obvious facts about it, you know.
Yeah, Rey's gonna, Rey's gonna be on Octu.
We're gonna find out something about her parents, you know, stuff like that. But now I have no idea.
And I don't know if that's a good thing done by Rian Johnson, or if that was kind of a good job, Ryan. Thanks for giving JJ nothing to go on.
I think it's good because it makes me more excited. Especially since...
But it's a different kind of excitement.
Right?
To me.
I think especially since this movie was such a toss-up, that I'm even more excited now. Because I'm like, come on, it has to get better. Especially since JJ's on board.
JJ.
Thank you, JJ.
Please.
We're going to keep saying that throughout the podcast. Thanks.
Yeah, just in the background.
JJ. Yeah.
Abrams. Yeah. Oh, God. He's not known to do well with endings. He's very good at beginnings. aka Lost.
Oh.
But he's not good at sticking landings, so please to God, JJ, please just stick this landing.
Well, this has a lot of pressure, too.
Well, and it's also like, I feel like he might be pressured to do new stuff when it's like, if you went back a little bit to the formula, not as much as The Force Awakens, because that was like beat for beat A New Hope, but if you went back, just like steer the ship back a little bit towards the middle, I think that would be helpful. Because Rian just almost went off a cliff.
Right.
In a good way, but it was just like, if we got 2 straight movies of like, didn't see that coming, like it would be
I see.
Too much a little bit.
But I think this also has pressure. He can't screw around with Star Wars.
Yeah.
I think
it's not a TV show. This is Star Wars.
He started the movie knowing this. He even told the actors this. Like, this is a religion, like Star Wars.
Yeah.
He can't mess around. So I think I have faith in him. We're going to have to wait how long? A year or 2?
Well, it's coming out December 20th, 2019.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It's only a year.
2 years.
Oh, 2019. Dang it.
Yeah.
I thought it was 2018.
Yeah. But
I'm so tired, guys.
Honestly, you'll start to get a feel for it in early 2019. So, like, for example, we got the title of the movie January of this year. So,
I see.
12 months ago. So, you'll start to, like, get slow feel for the movie. And we got the first trailer in April. So, it's not, like, a super long time. Yeah. But it's, like, it's a good year. It's, like, a solid year we have to wait before we get anything.
All right. Can I share with you one of my predictions?
Go ahead.
So, this is a shot in the dark. Disclaimer once again. But I know there's this feeling that people want to, like, redeem Kylo. I don't think he's going to be fully redeemed. I even talked about this with you on the phone, like, but I do think there'll be this moment, and my feeling was that Hux might gain power somehow, because there's something about Hux that I think they'll, expand on. I think he might gain power somehow and, like, overpass Kylo. This is just a feeling.
In military power? Because he won't in the Force.
In something.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like somehow he'll be over Kylo.
Okay.
And he has a reason to. Kylo's been kind of jerky to him. And I think in the end, Kylo might do like a Vader moment. Like sacrifice himself to like help Rey or to help goodness, even though he's evil. That's what I feel. Yeah, and I have thought of that before too, but the issue I have with it is that they've insinuated that darkness rises and light to meet it. So if you get rid of the darkness, then Rey is just this immense, powerful light. So what darkness is going to rise to meet her? It's just going to happen again. You know what I mean? There's going to be some other kid, and that's going to be dark and rise to meet her. Not to bring up the extended universe up. Sorry about that. I'm kind of big into it. But there's a game, I told you a lot about it, called Knights of the Old Republic. There's a character in it. His name is Jindo, or Bindo. Jolie Bindo. Oh, the Bendu? Or we Bindu. Yeah, we're talking about the Bendu. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. And he has a quote where he says, "Everyone is foolish to choose one side or the other because history is just going to repeat itself." That's exactly what DJ said in the movie. Like, don't join. Yeah. It's just going to happen again and again. Yeah. You know? For us, this generation, Rey's our hero. And, she's going to probably make a big difference and probably implement some new things. But to be honest, this is probably going to happen again. Right. I was just thinking if there was some way to find some sort of balance, but then I was just like... I think she could find it. Like, you mean like Kylo dies. Say Kylo dies. Redeemed or not, he's dead. Yeah. Are you talking about the balance is within Rey? Like, she's not completely light, not completely dark? No. Okay. This goes into another prediction. I think they might, like... not be romantic, but like love each other enough that when he dies, she'll be devastated and she'll learn from his story and try and create a new order or new Jedi teaching so that people aren't so focused on one side or the other.
Okay.
That's what I'm hoping, shot in the dark, but I think she'll love him enough to learn from his story and teach people in a new way and start a new generation.
Well, also because she has no formal training. So if she teaches anyone, it's just going to be, well,
what she knows.
Making this up as I go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, even if she just starts teaching people anyway, I think she's learned from Kylo, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Like, this is what can go wrong. And she's learned from Luke.
I think that there could be a beautiful scene where if he does die, she says something to that degree, like she does. You're completely right. If he dies, she's going to be completely devastated because she sees herself in him a lot, because he is the only one, like, supposedly in the galaxy that has the power that she has. So naturally they're connected just because they can relate on the one thing that no one else can. I don't know. It takes me back to, like, the Finn and Rey scene at the, like, we'll see each other again, I believe that, or something like that. I can see a scene kind of like that between Rey and Kylo.
And I don't necessarily think it's romantic.
Yeah.
But I think it's another type of connection, love, spirituality, whatever.
What I would love and what I think would be perfect would be to write something that if you want to see it as romance, you can.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to see it as romance, you don't have to. And I think that would please everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
There's... JJ, please. Once more, JJ, come on. We're giving you great suggestions. Yeah, I think that's where they should go with it. That's why I told you earlier when we were off the podcast that I had a different point of view on the Reylo thing. I don't think it's romance, but I do think there's, like, this chemistry, this different type of love there.
Understanding.
I don't want to see them kiss or anything or end up happy together.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
I don't want to see them ride off into the sunset.
I don't think that will happen, to be honest. I think they set it up that it can't. Don't you?
Okay, it's so hard for me to say because if you watch The Force Awakens, you're like, well, I don't think that this would happen at all. But again, it's like The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi have extreme cohesion issues.
Right.
In some ways. And so it's like, you can say that The Last Jedi's story is insinuating something, but it's really all about what JJ wants. If he wants to take it that way, he 100% can. Even if the story doesn't naturally feel like it's going that way.
But then again, maybe we felt that way with The Force Awakens because we had 2 more movies left. Now it's like down to the wire.
We have 66% of the story now.
Yeah, he has to focus on what's left before him. Otherwise, he's going to totally mess around, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think there's only so much. I don't think Kylo's extremely redeemable. I mean, they may prove me wrong.
That's what's so good about him. That's my favorite part about him.
Agreed. And so that's why I think a lot of those things aren't possible, like them riding off in the sunset. I don't think that's possible.
Well, also, I think it would send a really good message if she ended up with, like, Poe or Finn.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, the nice guy got the girl because he's not an asshole.
Right.
And I'd be like, oh, that makes sense, you know?
Honestly, I wouldn't even mind if she wasn't with anyone.
I actually kind of hope she isn't with anyone.
Yeah.
I really actually hope
I think...
that. Do you have any more, or should I do mine?
Yeah, the other one was Leia's death revealed in the opening crawl.
Okay, well, that's my first one, so yeah. I predict that there will be a substantial time jump. I said at least a year, but at most a decade.
Yeah,
I can
think
see,
so,
like,
too.
a massive time jump.
Right, I think so, too.
Because with the no time jump, it almost felt like a duality. Like, you could watch The Force Awakens and go straight into The Last Jedi, and it feels like one huge movie, like part 1, part 2. And so, like, I feel like they really need a time jump to make the third. Like, if there wasn't a big enough time jump, I'd be like, the whole trilogy takes place over 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Which would be a little ridiculous.
Right.
I feel like we need some time jump. I also said Kylo will not be redeemed, but I don't 100% think he's going to be, like, killed. There's going to be more to the story.
Yeah.
But I don't see him... I just can't see him being redeemed. And all the Reylo people are like, he's 100% going to be redeemed. I was like, just because you've redeemed him in your head doesn't mean that he's redeemed yet.
You don't see him dying. That's interesting.
I don't see a way for him not to die, though, at the same time. You know what I mean?
Right. That's why it's so hard making predictions for this one.
I said JJ will write some sort of way to find a balance.
Yeah.
JJ.
That's why my balance, I was thinking, was her creating that new whatever, but...
And then I said, Rey will build her own lightsaber using the crystal from Anakin's saber, and I'm going to predict right now on December 22nd that because she favors her staff so much, it's going to be double-bladed.
That'd be so cool.
I would freaking die if it was double. Like, if that was in, like, a teaser trailer or something, like, she ignites one side, and then she ignites the other side, I would be, I would jump out a window. Like, I would be so excited.
Yeah, that would be so cool. Like Darth Maul.
Yes, but like a good version of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's reminiscent of a Sith Lord.
Yeah.
Insinuating that, is she completely good? The animal war cry, maybe not, you know?
Yeah. That would be so dope.
Can you, like, I'm just imagining,
JJ.
I'm just imagining a teaser trailer.
Yeah.
Where, like, it's all dark. She's, like, in a cave or something. And we see a full shot of her body, and one side of the lightsaber ignites, but it's still really dark, so you can't really see the rest of it. And then the other side ignites, and then the teaser ends. I would, like...
Yeah,
that would
people
be,
flip their...
I would flip out.
I would hope they'd save that for the movie, though. I wouldn't want it in a teaser. I'd want to see the theater reaction.
Yeah.
Oh,
true.
I can just imagine.
Like, goosebumps.
Actually, I have another prediction I forgot to write down. I was thinking, you know, with Leia gone, do you think it's possible that Poe could become the leader of the Resistance?
I think that was the whole point of this movie, was to show that.
Right. But
I think it's
my
highly
thing is he
likely.
still has a lot to learn.
Well, that's why we need a time jump. Like a massive time jump.
But then do you feel like that would leave things out? You'd be like, oh, he learned all of a sudden?
There could be an anthology movie somewhere down the line filling in some of that stuff.
Here's a thought. What if JJ thought there wasn't enough material for him to make one good movie? So what if he split it in 2 parts?
I was thinking about that, and I think that I would be completely down. Like,
Same.
Oh my god, more Daisy Ridley, more John Boyega.
Oh, yeah.
But the fanboys would riot.
You think so?
Yeah, to break the trilogy... To break the trilogy trend, I think that the fanboys would, like, their brains would explode.
But this adds to the part where...
Let the past die.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nostalgia is just a feeling.
So if you did it as a what would it be, a quadrilogy? That's awesome.
Yeah.
A quadrilogy. Would it be episode 9, the whatever the title is, and then episode 10, or it wouldn't be part 1, part 2? Because that would give me some Twilight vibes, and I don't think I want that.
Well, Harry Potter did that too. Harry Potter did it first. It was the first.
I know, but Twilight did it the worst. So
there you go.
So I if they did it like that, if for some reason there's a freaking episode 10 and it's a quadrilogy, I would want it to be episode 9, episode 10. I wouldn't want it to be episode 9, part 1.
That's true.
Episode 9, part 2. Like, I would be like, no, we're done.
Or Act 1.
Because it's like an episode.
Better. Act 1, Act 2.
But what's wrong with just doing episode 10 at that point? Because then I guess 11, 12, 13 would be kind of weird.
But then this kind of makes the fanboys happy at the same time, giving him more room to add what he could have added in the
I'm going to say right now that that's not going to happen. Not that I wouldn't want it, though.
Yeah. Or they could pull a Lord of the Rings and make the movie a day long.
It can be 4 hours and be 1 part, baby.
Exactly. Exactly. They could do that. I would be down for that too. No lie.
I'm sitting in that theater either way.
I sat through Lord of the Rings, man. That's a day. A day and a half.
My friend... Oh, Becca, who is not on this podcast today, but oh my god.
Sorry, guys. I'm better. I'm joking, Becca.
Freaking was like, you've never seen the Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
And so she's just like, here's my extended versions. And she made me sit through the extended version of the last one. Whatever it was.
Yeah. Return of the King, baby.
Oh my god. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
It was the longest movie I've ever seen.
Exactly.
We literally took a dinner break and came back and watched another movie.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's how it is. That's the Lord of the Rings culture, man.
I can't. Like, that was the worst. Like, by the end, I couldn't even sit still anymore.
You should have seen the first two. Why did she just make you watch the three?
I watched all three of them in like a week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Welcome. No. Epic fantasy.
I didn't like it as much as Star Wars. Just saying.
I think Star Wars was always my brother's thing more.
Star Wars was never even my thing until The Force Awakens.
Mine was more Lord of the Rings and stuff, but I liked Star Wars because we had a lot of video games and stuff.
Yeah.
They're so cool, dude. They have great characters. If you feel like a Star Wars withdrawal, just look up some of the characters and you'll be inspired. You don't have to like love it and want them to be in the movies, but it will like satisfy that Star Wars withdrawal.
Yeah. Do you have any more episode 9 stuff? I'm trying to think.
Predictions?
I kind of want like a mysterious Rey. Like in the beginning of episode 6, Luke walks in with the hood on and he's wearing all black.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of like this like cool, calm, collected like master Luke when he walks into Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of want that for Rey. Like she looks basically the same in these two movies, like wearing the exact same thing. Like I would love it if she just looked completely like a badass or...
You know, I would like that. But I feel like I want to see her progression to become a master. I know the time jump could have that in there and we don't see it, but I would want to see that, you know?
Yeah, this is just such uncharted waters.
I know. But that excites me. No lie. It
excites me too because this is the first time I feel like we don't know how a trilogy is going to end.
Yeah. We're shooting in the dark. Yeah, I'm already pumped, and now we gotta wait 2 years.
Yeah, but Han Solo movie's coming out in like 150 days.
Who's directing that?
Ron Howard. After they fired the first guy.
What has he done? What other movies?
I don't know. Want me to look it up?
I know Emilia Clarke is in that. And I love me some Emilia. So. Who's playing Han?
Alden...
Do you think it's weird that they're making
it?
Okay. Oh, sorry, Alden.
But your last name sucks.
Yeah.
It's too long.
It's alright.
Let me see.
Honestly, do you think it's weird that they're making a Han Solo?
I think that, again, the fanboys hate it, but I'm okay with it. Like, obviously I'm gonna pay my money.
I feel like we've seen a young Han Solo movie.
Well, and it's also weird because of the let the past die. And now we're going to watch a Han Solo movie.
Exactly, and we saw young Han Solo. It's weird just to see not a Harrison Ford.
Yeah, we're going to see younger Han Solo.
I don't know how I feel.
I think it depends on if the movie sucks or not.
I did love Rogue One, though.
What's going to be cool is that, like, I have all the DVDs, and I have, like, the trilogy... The original, you know, I have the prequels, the original, and then when I bought Rogue One, I slipped it right in between the two, and I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
And then, like, when I buy this one, inevitably, I'm going to put it before Rogue One, but after, because of the timeline. Yeah. Like, you can literally see the timeline all spread out. I think that that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then I hope that, like, they will do stuff in between the originals and the sequels in years to come, you know?
That's the thing I always liked about Star Wars is that it was so unconventional in the time. Because the universe is so vast that they could go to any time period in this universe they created, this fictional universe, and create a whole storyline.
Oh, speaking of which, how do you feel about the fact that Rian Johnson is doing his own trilogy? Have you heard about that?
I heard about it.
After this movie, I'm like, it might be for the best that he's not taking nostalgic characters anymore.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing what characters he creates. Because, you know...
He obviously is creative.
Yeah, he did a progression of JJ's characters, which is why we were kind of disappointed in some things. But I wouldn't mind it, because he shoots, like we said before, so artistically.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I'd watch it anyway.
Well, of course, I'm going to watch it even if it sucks, but, like...
I wonder what it's about.
That's the beauty of it. It's a complete blank slate. Like, it relates back to, like, nothing.
So excited.
Episode 9, oh my gosh. But see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, when The Force Awakens ended, this is how we felt about Episode 8. And then think about we knew nothing about episode 8. Think about how much you knew about 8 before you walked into the theater compared to how much we know now.
But still, I feel like after The Force Awakens, there were things I could guess or predict. Mm-hmm. You know? There was material. There were loose ends. Whereas this, I'm trying to,
There's just nothing to grasp onto. What is there? Yeah.
Kylo is now the Supreme Leader. Rey is now the Last Jedi. Okay, now what? You know?
JJ, now what?
Yeah. What are we gonna do? Rose?
What? JJ's sitting down in a meeting. You know what I need more of? I need more Rose.
Oh God. Come on, JJ, please. No offense to the actor. I mean, she
did a good job. Plus, I love her. I've watched so many interviews.
I saw interviews with her. She's so quirky and cute. But I'm sorry, girl. Rose, you got the short end of the stick.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Brian's like, I'm going to give you a character, but it's not going to be a good character.
Exactly.
You're welcome. Here's the paycheck.
Yeah.
What would be hilarious is if Rose was in 9 quite a bit and automatically she's written much better and then everyone loves her. I was like, in your face, Rian. If JJ took this character that everyone's whatever and then made her awesome.
That would be ideal, to be honest, because I want to like her more.
Yeah.
I liked Rey more after this one.
Do you think Finn and Rose are going to be a couple in 9? Going to be yeah, they've been dating for a few years?
I think they led on to it, and honestly, I'm not a fan, especially...
They have no chemistry.
Yeah, especially with what I feel with Rose. And I think I would prefer him with Rey or something, or even Poe, to be honest, than Rose.
Yeah.
He has more chemistry with those two.
I don't think she really has chemistry with anything either. This isn't supposed to be a beatdown on Rose, but honestly, she's not that special.
Yeah, sorry guys. Sorry. Come on, JJ. But I don't know. Hopefully they write her better, and then I'll like the romance. Mm-hmm. But still, something in me will be like, come on, that's Rey's guy. Come on.
Well, that look that she gave him when he was putting the blanket over her.
I noticed that.
Rey was just
I sensed a bit of jealousy.
I hope that's what it was, instead of just oh, look, my friend has a new girlfriend.
No, I actually noticed that look.
Yeah, she was just where's my blanket?
Yeah. I know, right? She just came out. She's just
that was actually my... Oh,
yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Exactly.
She's bleeding, her face is bleeding. Can I... Okay.
Yeah.
Can I have a Band-Aid, Finn? No. Rose needs this blanket.
Right. Honestly, I didn't get a sense that Finn even cared too much for her. I feel like Rian...
Rose?
Yeah. I feel like Rian tried to show he cared by getting her necklace back, but I felt like that was out of place too.
You want to know why? Because they don't have any chemistry.
Exactly. Yeah. Give my boy Finn some justice, man. Poor Finn.
Give Rey the climax of the movie.
Exactly. Come on.
I'm more excited now, after we had this super long talk. When I first came out of 9, I was just why should I even... Or 8, why should I even be excited for 9?
Yeah.
And now after, it's sunk in, I've watched the movie 3 times, I'm holy crap, this is, something we've never seen before.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we made more solid opinions now that we've talked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well, we should probably end this.
Yeah. It was nice being on here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I expect to be here again for the next one.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
So we can say if JJ did a good job.
Yeah, come on, JJ.
I like his name, too. It's just so much fun to say,
Me too.
JJ Abrams.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, I'm JJ. What do you think his name is? James
Joseph? James John?
James John.
James? Jar Jar?
Yeah, that's a joke.
Yeah, I know. John.
Did you say James? What kind of jerk would name their son James?
Jesse
and he'd be
James.
I'm going by JJ.
Jesse James.
Oh my god, Jesse James Abrams.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Jonah
James. There's gotta be a James in there. Come on.
Name.
Jeffrey Jacob Abrams.
I get it now.
I get it.
Yeah.
I
JJ
like that.
is so much cooler.
It's a solid... Now, Jeffrey Jacob, you come down here right now. Stop playing with your action figures. Mom, I told
you to call me JJ.
What else has he made?
So many good reboots.
Yeah.
He's the master of reboots. Star Trek.
I've always
he
heard
did
his
Star
name,
Trek.
but I
he
never...
did Lost.
Star Trek.
Super 8.
I think I've seen Super 8.
Let me see.
He did Under the Dome. I
Mission
remember
Impossible.
that was on TV. Ah, I see.
He's amazing.
Okay.
Like, honestly, he might be...
Westworld?
Yeah, he might be the director of our generation.
Westworld?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sold. Come on.
He's the executive producer on The Last Jedi.
Yeah, I saw that. In the
Person of
credits.
interest, like...
Oh, there you go. All right, I have confidence. 10 Cloverfield? Okay.
He did Revolution. I liked that show for a little while.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like
Fringe.
A couple of his shows got canceled on TV, but I think from seeing his movies, his resume of movies, I'm confident. His movies are solid.
Oh my god, I know.
But the shows...
If J.J. Abrams came up to you and was like, hey, I think I have a good idea for a movie, I'd be like, take all my money, JJ.
Yeah.
Take it all and do whatever you need with it.
Right.
Make a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Westworld is like a really epic, like, Western... Mm-hmm. That's a big deal. Wow, okay.
Yeah, he's also just a great guy.
Yeah, he's really charismatic in his interviews. Ryan's just a little...
Well, anyway, I'm going to end this.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
See ya.